I think the Minnesota Vikings just got a gift from the Seattle Seahawks, and I'll be explaining why on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Patrick Siepman. Hopefully you guys are staying safe in the Minneapolis and Minnesota area. Frigid temperatures out. That's why we're filming from at home today. Even down here in Dallas, Texas, the roads are iced out. We couldn't even drive into the office today, but still want to get multiple videos out for you guys and talk about this take I have of the Vikings getting a gift from the Seattle Seahawks and why pressure is now on the Minnesota Vikings here to win a playoff game next season. And if they don't, I could very well see Kevin O'Connell being done as a Vikings head coach. But I do have a little challenge for you guys. Since a lot of us here at Chat Sports, we are working from home today, we're trying to see who can pick up the most amount of subscribers on an at-home video. So if you guys could help me out, this is a great way to make me look good for my bosses as well. So if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button today. I would really appreciate it. Just a free, easy way to help us out. And I'm trying to be the Chat Sports channel that picks up the most subscribers on an at-home video here as we're all working from home during the snow day here down here in Dallas, Texas, believe it or not. So if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button today, and let's dive into today's show. So the Vikings getting a gift from the Seattle Seahawks. And what I mean by that is I think the Seahawks making the Super Bowl and Sam Darnold specifically having an unreal performance in the NFC Championship game, that puts a lot of pressure on the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, we're going in the next season, and I wholeheartedly believe this. If the Vikings do not win a playoff game next year, I think Kevin O'Connell will be out. Now, I think if you want to make a counter argument to that, you would say, well, Patrick, would the Wilfs be willing to let go of Kevin O'Connell after they just gave him a massive 5-year contract, reportedly around $18 million per year? So would they just be willing to buy him out of that deal? I would agree with you. That would sound unlikely, but I mean, pressure would be on. That would be 5 years in a row, the 5th year under Kevin O'Connell, where this team would not make the playoffs. And I'm sure the Wilfs are looking at the Seahawks and saying, oh, Mike McDonald in year 2 just made the damn Super Bowl with the quarterback you had last year on this roster, and that Kevin O'Connell decided to let him walk out the door. Because I think it would be naive to say that KOC didn't have the biggest say in Sam Darnold leaving. I think his ego got in the way a little bit, and him saying, you know what, I could go do this with J.J. McCarthy. Look what I just did with Sam Darnold. I could do the exact same thing. So I think, yes, even though we're all probably feeling a certain type of way about the Seahawks and Sam Darnold making the Super Bowl, I think this might actually be good news for Vikings fans, because I think the pressure will ramp up here in Minnesota, and hopefully the pressure doesn't crumble this organization. Hopefully it creates some diamonds, and the Vikings are able to go on a deep playoff run next year and finally, get that playoff win. We're not asking for much here. I think a playoff win next season would be incredibly successful. Now, if it's with J.J. McCarthy, I think it would be ultra successful if he is the starting quarterback and we're able to win a playoff game with him at the helm as QB1. But I think this will also, and kind of segue into this here, I think the Vikings might get ultra aggressive in getting another quarterback this offseason, because Kevin O'Connell understands that his job may be on the line. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah for sure knows his job's on the line. And if you go back to their end of the year presser, I mean, if you guys saw it, Kwesi was very non-committal on J.J. McCarthy. I don't think this is something where they want to be hunkered down to 9 and J.J. McCarthy's our guy no matter what. Yeah, we're going to go bring in some veteran quarterback options, but he's our guy still. They were very non-committal on that. So the options are the confusing part here. Do you think if you asked, and maybe I'll toss this question your guys' way, if you ask Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, is Kirk Cousins, if he's your starter for all 17 games, can you go win a playoff game with him? What do you think they would say? What would you say to that question? I would probably say no. I think Kirk's a fantastic quarterback, but I think, in my opinion, and Kirk would raise the floor of this football team a whole lot. The Vikings would probably win 9 or 10 games again, maybe even 10, 11 games with Kirk Cousins. But I don't know if in the playoffs you'd be able to come through and get a big-time playoff win. But the question becomes also is do you think with J.J. McCarthy, can he develop with another offseason where he could be better than Kirk Cousins would be next season? That's got to be a huge angle that the Vikings are trying to figure out, where it's they probably understand the situation where it's hey, J.J. McCarthy is 23 years old. He is a sicko. He's a football competitor. He will get better. But how much better will he get? Like, will they give JJ that time? Will they just kind of give him the faith that McCarthy will get better? That's going to be a huge question mark for this Vikings front office. And will they view, and maybe that would just be flat out what it is. Maybe it's, hey, we'll bring in Kevin O'Connell. J.J. McCarthy will be there too. If J.J. McCarthy can beat out Kirk Cousins, if J.J. can beat out Kirk Cousins, bam, there's your starting quarterback. But if he can't, that would be incredibly concerning. Then we'll go with, Kirk Cousins on that one. So we'll wait and see what they decide to do here at the quarterback position. I kind of want to wrap today's show up talking about this. Justin Jefferson. So a lot of people speculate, like, if the Vikings aren't successful next season, could Jefferson potentially demand a trade? And also, you could phrase this as Vikings get another gift from the Seahawks, is specifically Jackson Smith-Njigba. He tore it up last night. 10 catches, over 150 yards, found the end zone. And it's crazy to say, but if you ask anybody, non-Vikings fans, who do you think the best wide receiver in the league is, they probably say JSN, and if they're not saying JSN, they're probably saying Puka Nacua. And even Jamar Chase, I'm sure Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are saying to themselves, like, if they're texting, be like, man, yeah, these guys are great wide receivers, but we're way better. I mean, I bet you if you asked who are your top 3 wide receivers in the league, how many people list Justin Jefferson? Where this guy was, not anymore, but he was heading into the season, most receiving yards per game in NFL history. He was completely lighting it up. And now after this year with Puka playing with Stafford, JSN playing with Darnold, like Chase is still playing with Burrow. Like, I am sure Jefferson is looking at this quarterback room and being like, man, y'all better figure it out. Because, yes, he wants to win football games, but also he would be lying to say, like, oh, I don't care about my own numbers. Like, he wants a guy who can get him the football, where he can go out there and kill DBs every single day. He can go out there and just dominate other players in the National Football League. That's where guys like Jefferson, A.J. Brown has talked about it, where he was like, yeah, winning a Super Bowl is great, but I get my love out of killing other DBs when we step out there. And, I wonder how Jefferson feels after the season, because he lost his wide receiver #1 in the league title. Like, that's got to suck for Jefferson. This guy's a fucking dog. This guy is one of the best competitors and one of the best wide receivers I have ever seen. But even if I had to go out there, I still think he's the best in the game, but you can make a compelling argument that it's not. You can make a better argument for JSN and Puka Nacua now. Like, it's just a little concerning where the Vikings are at. So pretty much point being of this video, and to kind of sum up my thoughts here, I think the Seahawks put a lot of pressure on the Vikings. Seahawks have a really good team. They got a really good defense. Same with the Vikings. Pressure becomes now on Kevin O'Connell, and if he thinks, and this is how KOC saves his job, #1, JJ develops, and maybe he has a big hand in that, or #2, you get an upgrade at the quarterback position. That's really it. Like, there's really no other answer to it, because if you don't, you're not winning a playoff game. And is the answer to the upgrade at the quarterback position, is it Kirk Cousins? Is it Marcus Mariota? Like Gardner Minshew? Probably not. If it's Joe Burrow, I've been saying the Vikings need to do whatever they can. If it's 3 firsts, Grenard, whatever they want, JJ, you send that fucking offer in and you go land Joe Burrow in Minnesota, a team you grew up rooting for. It would be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect. But still, point being here, I think the Vikings, a lot of pressure on them, man. A lot of pressure on them. And we'll see what happens with this organization, because I think just the Seahawks, like, they made the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, man. They did. Like, it's tough looking at this as a Vikings fan. Like, you probably woke up, like, I was rooting for Darnold yesterday, but I was like, man, this fucking blows. We had this guy in our building. He won 14 games, and, yeah, I was on the camp, too, of letting him out the door. I think a lot of us were, because we had a lot more faith in JJ, developing and being better than what he was in year one. But now you're just looking at it, and it's just incredibly disappointing. And it stinks, and I feel bad that JJ is kind of getting the slack out of this. But, again, he's a professional athlete. He can handle it. But, again, I think it comes down to, what does Kevin O'Connell think? Does he think that potentially McCarthy can develop and take a huge jump in year 2 to 3, or does he think he needs to go get a quarterback upgrade, and that's how he's going to save his job? But I do think the Vikings, like, this sucks now, but, like, the Seahawks did put a lot of pressure on them, and I think that's a good thing for organizations. Organizations that feel pressure, they're normally more aggressive, and aggressive wins in the NFL. So overall, I think it's pretty good. So
we'll see. The gift of pressure, beautiful thing from Seattle. Shout out to them. And if you guys watch this entire thing, shout out to all of you guys, and Skol Vikes.